Dear students, today I will explain Tennyson's poem Break, Break, Break. This elegiac poem was composed by Tennyson in a Lincolnshire lane at 5 in the morning and published in 1842. In this poem, the poet hints at the depth to which he has been shaken by a heart-rending incident of his life, the untimely death of his friend Arthur Hallam, who passed away at the very early age of 23. This poem is a pathetic lament of the poet and an expression of heartfelt grief in a very poignant manner. The poet, who is sitting on the grave of his friend Arthur Hallam on a hill, watches the sea waves that are dashing against the seashore. He is in a dejected mood, but he finds him unable to express his own feelings. First, I read our lines. Break, break, break on thy cold grey stones, O sea, and I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Oh, well for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sisters at play. Oh, well for the sailor lad that he sings in his boat on the way. And the stately ships go on to their heaven under the hill. But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still, break, break, break at the foot of thy cracks, O sea, but the tender grace of the day that is dead will never come back to me. These lines expresses our poet's profound grief and unrest over the untimely passing away of his friend Arthur Hallam. The sea is the sea in torment symbolizes the mental torment of the poet over the sudden loss of his friend. The sea of grief rolls in the heart of the poet and strikes his mind again and again like the waves dashing against the sea coast. He does not know how to console himself and calm down the rising waves of his grief. He therefore urges the waves to continue breaking on the lifeless stones without harming them. It is his wish that he could express in words the thought that are rising in his heart. It is clear that those thoughts, thoughts that are connected with the loss that he suffered by the death of his friend Arthur Hallam. When he sees the world going on unchanged with a complete indifference to his grief, then he feels contrast and envies the happy lot of the fisherman's boy and sailor's boy. In other words, the poet compares himself with the fisherman's boy and a sailor's boy. First, he feels that fisherman's boy who is playing with his sister can express his feelings of delight and anger by shouting loudly. Likewise, the poet envies the fortune of the sailor's boy, sailor's lad, who is expressing his feelings by singing while sailing his boat on the bay. He wants to say that both fishermen's boy and sailors lad are very fortunate, are very lucky, because they are capable to express their feelings very well. But our poet cannot express the deep rooted grief of his heart. Likewise, he envies also with the majestic ships which are returning from the long sea voyage towards their harbor. Their returning makes our poet realizes that his friend who is no more will never return from the country of death, and his sorrow becomes intentional when he feels that he could never receive the soft and comfortable touch of his friend's hand, and never hear his soft and soothing voice. In the last four lines, the poet again observes the sea waves striking and dashing against the rocky coast. His mind then turns to the past and begins to memorize his happy days when his friend was alive, and feels that he would never see him again. He therefore urges the waves to continue dashing against the rocky stones without harming them. Thanks. That's enough.